Here I'm going to show you how to make and refine a selection, then export the selection to a new layer. First of all, I'm going to open up an image that I want to choose part of. So I go to my Pottershot folder and I take this. Here's an image of a student jumping up into the air. And what we're going to do, I'm going to use the quick selection tool. Set maybe a slightly bigger brush than this, and then I'm going to select areas of the student. So I'm just dragging through, trying to get the majority of the student selected. Now you might notice that I've got a few pieces of the background in here. I'm not too worried about that at the moment. I just want to get the majority of the student chosen. A little bit more hair. Alright, good. Now if I hold the Alt key, you'll see the cursor changes from a plus into a minus. I'm going to release it. See, it turns back into a plus. Press Alt, it turns back into a minus. So by holding Alt down and clicking, I can remove elements from this selection. So now I can go around and I can fine tune by removing elements of the background. Alright, now you might find that it's useful to be able to zoom in a little bit here, so you can always zoom in. I'm going to zoom in to 100%. I can see a little bit more easily what I'm doing. So again, holding the Alt key down, I'm excluding parts of the background that I don't want. Alright, so let's have a quick look around here. A little bit more background that we don't want here. So once again, the Alt key, press down, remove the pieces that I don't want. Alright, a little bit in here. Again, if you end up accidentally deselecting, so I've deselected part of the brush here, then you can go and reselect it again. I just had to make the brush a little bit smaller. There we go. That's pretty close. So now it's worth having a quick look around the edge, see if there's any little errors. So there I've got a bit of background that I didn't want. Go around here. I'm missing a little bit of the student, so I'll pick that up. Just don't worry too much about the accuracy around the hair. If there's any big pieces like that that are missing, then we can fix it. But we'll use the refine tool to get the hair a little bit more correct later on. Alright, so it's looking good. Here we've got following around the shoulder, looks fine. Here we're missing a hand and part of the brush, so we're going to go and select up here to the end of the broom. I got a little bit of wall there, so I'll take that away using the Alt key. Alright, now that will do as a rough attempt. So once I've got my approximate selection done, I click Refine Edge. Now what this does by default is it shows me what I am getting at the moment. So here I can see, if I just went ahead with the selection as it is, this is what I would get. You see I get quite a nasty, harsh edge. There's bits of green all over the place. So the first thing I'm going to do is switch on Smart Radius and just push the radius up a little bit. What that does is it gets Photoshop to look at what it thinks should be included and what should not be included in the image, and you see it sort of tidied the edges up quite a little bit. I might also smooth the edge a little bit as well, which will get rid of some of the sharp edges. You can see that particularly around the edge of where the hair is. Now it's often quite useful if you can see what you're excluding. So I'm going to go ahead and change the view to the overlay view. So overlay view just shows you in transparent red what it is that you're getting rid of. And then what we're going to use now is this radius brush. So the radius brush, we are going to go around and paint it onto areas that we want the computer to be a little bit more choosy about. So there I've painted on some of the hair, and you can see now it's gone around that hair area and it's made some better selections. There's another piece of hair that wasn't selected, so I paint it with a brush, and there you go. It gets the parts of the hair that we want, and it removes the parts that we don't. So again, there's another tuft of hair in there that we need to include, and going around this part there's also some pieces of hair that we want to pick up, and possibly even going around the edge. The more that you use this tool, the better you'll get at it, and there's always a little bit of fine tuning to do. So maybe we say, do you know what, we're happy with this now. Let's see if there's anything else which we don't want. Yeah, that's close enough. So we are ready to choose decontaminate colors, and then critically, from all of the places we can output this to, we're going to output it to a new layer with a mask. Okay, so here you can see we've now 2 layers. If I hide this one and show you the original, here's our original picture. It's untouched. We're working in a non-destructive way. If I hide that and show you just my new layer, now you can see just the parts of the background which we've promoted, which we've selected. And so we can go around this and we can do any last little bits of fine tuning. So, for example, around the foot here I can see that there's a little bit of green. To fix that, we're going to just mask some of this out. Now on the layer mask here, you can see a tiny white picture of Christina on a black background, and this is our layer mask. Anything which is black on this layer is blocked out, and anything white is shown through. So I click on the layer, and I make sure that I have chosen white and brush. Now, anywhere I draw with my brush will become visible. So I'm adding it to the areas that's shown through the mask. So here you can see all of this background coming back. Now that's really not what I want to do, so I'm going to do edit and undo. I'm going to flip now so that I've got black. I'm going to zoom in a little bit, so maybe go to 200%, get a slightly smaller brush, and I'm going to go around here with my black. And you can see rather than drawing black, what I'm doing is I am adding areas that are excluded from our mask. So I'm able to then make sure that none of the green is showing through. Do the same with this piece at the front of the shoe. There's a bit more on this shoe. Now, if you're a little bit too harsh with this, let's say, oh, I realise now this doesn't look good because I've cut too much off of here. You can always, again, swap to white, and then you can draw back in. This is a nice way of working because you're not being destructive. You're not permanently removing anything from the image. You're just deciding what should be shown and what should be hidden. So this is a nice way of working with Photoshop. If you look at the work later on and you decide that you've been a bit harsh somewhere, again, you can just go back in and you can refine your layer mask. Once we're happy with our cutout, we can move on to the next stage. Okay.